Hello, and thank you for visiting the panel review for Initial School Counselor, Adjustment Counselor, and Social Worker Licensure component of the Massachusetts Educator Licensure Series, often referred to as MELS. This presentation provides general information to assist individuals who have substantial experience in formal education relevant to the role and responsibilities of a school counselor, school adjustment counselor, and/or school social worker learn how they may obtain a license permitting employment in Massachusetts public school settings. Please note that there is a separate MELS, MSW to initial licensure as a school social worker, school adjustment counselor, designed to assist individuals who have a master's degree in social work learn how they may obtain an initial school social worker, school adjustment counselor license in Massachusetts. Throughout this presentation, there will be references to finding additional information related to the aforementioned professional support personnel licenses, such as guides, forms, and other websites. You can find links to these resources within the overview located directly beneath this video. When selecting the type of professional support personnel license, please keep the following in mind. It is possible to earn an initial license as your first license. It is not possible to obtain a professional license as your first license. The school guidance counselor and school counselor licenses serve the same function. Therefore, please do not apply for both of these licenses. Due to changes to the regulations, applicants seeking to obtain an initial school guidance counselor license must apply and satisfy all requirements prior to July 1, 2019. Otherwise, they should apply for the school counselor license. An initial license is valid for 5 years of employment, not 5 calendar years, and if necessary, educators may extend an initial license for an additional 5 years of employment. Two paths exist to obtain initial professional support personnel licensure: general and internal panel review. The general path is for folks who already possess a license from another state or jurisdiction comparable to the Massachusetts license sought, or have been formally prepared through an educator preparation program for the license sought. There is also the internal panel review path. The panel review is a process used by the department for reviewing and recommending candidates for initial licensure who have substantial experience and formal education relevant to the license sought, but have not met the specific licensure requirements. As previously mentioned, this presentation provides an overview of the panel review process, which upon documenting eligibility may lead to a recommendation for the initial professional support personnel license sought. There are two potential phases to the panel review: the panel review portfolio and the panel review interview. Individuals who qualify for a panel review portfolio, who also have at least 5 years of full-time employment in the field of counseling, social work, and/or psychology, may qualify for a panel review interview. The next few slides will cover the panel review portfolio. We will cover the panel review interview later in this presentation. Individuals who possess a bachelor's degree, achieve a passing score on the Communication and Literacy Skills Test, and have at least 30 panel review points qualify for the panel review portfolio. Individuals earn panel review points through relevant experience and relevant graduate credits. Each complete year of full-time employment in the field of counseling, social work, and/or psychology may be worth 6 points. In addition, folks earn 1 point for each semester hour of graduate credit earned through coursework that addresses any panel review coverage of requirement of the license sought. We will cover panel review coverage of requirements on the next slide. Simply put, the number of years of full-time experience in the field of counseling, social work, or psychology multiplied by 6, plus the number of relevant semester hours of graduate credit must be greater than or equal to 30 to be eligible for the panel review portfolio process. As mentioned in slide 4, you must have at least 5 years of full-time employment in the field of counseling, social work, and/or psychology to qualify for a panel review interview, regardless of how many graduate credits you may have. School guidance counselor and school counselor coverage of requirements are noted on this slide, are also known as the subject matter knowledge SMK requirements. As a reminder, each graduate credit received through coursework that addresses any SMK requirement is 1 point earned towards panel review portfolio eligibility. School social worker, school adjustment counselor, coverage of, or SMK requirements are noted on this slide. Again, each graduate credit received through coursework that addresses any of these SMK requirements is 1 point earned towards panel review portfolio eligibility for the school social worker, school adjustment counselor license. Prior to discussing specific requirements that must be satisfied within the panel review process, let's discuss how eligibility for the panel review portfolio is documented. To document possession of a bachelor's degree, applicants should upload an official undergraduate transcript that includes the registrar's signature, verifying a bachelor's degree conferred, along with the conferral date and all coursework within. The degree must be completed through a college or university accredited by a recognized organization. Applicants who earn a degree outside of the United States through a college or university not accredited by a recognized organization should upload a degree equivalency report made by a nationally recognized agency. Statute requires a bachelor's degree. Therefore, applicants with graduate degrees still must submit verification of a bachelor's degree. As for the communication and literacy skills test, the testing company reports results automatically to the Office of Educator Licensure. You can find additional information pertaining to how to upload documents, recognized accrediting organizations, nationally recognized agencies, and the Communication and Literacy Skills test through links contained within the overview located directly beneath this video. We will address documenting panel review eligibility through relevant experience and/or relevant graduate credits on the following slide. If applicable, please submit official transcripts to verify graduate credit received for the successful completion of your relevant graduate coursework. To verify relevant experience that occurred outside of a school setting, please upload a letter written on official letterhead of the organization where the employment occurred, signed by a head administrator, generally a human resources director, president, or executive director. The letter should state the specific role and dates of your employment. To verify relevant experience that occurred in a school setting, you may upload a letter written on official letterhead of the district or school setting where the employment occurred, signed by a superintendent, assistant superintendent, principal, human resources director, executive director, or equivalent head administrator. The letter should state the specific role and dates of your employment. In lieu of the aforementioned letter, applicants may upload a completed school-based employment verification, induction, and mentoring form to document relevant experience. If any of your experience was less than full-time, then the letter or form should state the full-time equivalency for each pertinent time period. You can find the SMK requirements and the school-based employment verification, induction, and mentoring form through links contained within the overview located directly beneath this video. Once a staff member of the licensure office verifies that an applicant has successfully documented eligibility for the panel review portfolio process, they measure the applicant's compliance with two requirements. These requirements consist of the previously mentioned panel review coverage of, or SMK requirements, and a supervised and mentored internship in the role and at the grade level of the specific license sought. An internship of 900 hours is required for the initial school social worker, school adjustment counselor license, and an internship of 450 hours is required for the initial school guidance counselor or school counselor license. Applicants may have these hours reduced by 150 hours for completing one or more field-based experiences in a role relevant to the license sought. In addition, they may also have the internship reduced by 100 hours for each year of employment specifically in the role of the license sought. We will address how coverage of requirements and the internship requirement are satisfied and documented on the following slides. Subject matter knowledge requirements, or coverage of requirements, are satisfied through coursework, seminars, workshops, and/or mentored employment peer coaching that provide at least 10 hours of instruction specific to and completely covering each requirement. Please note that the individual providing the mentored employment peer coaching must have been trained as a mentor, hold the Massachusetts initial or professional license sought by the mentee, and have a combined total of at least 3 full years of experience under the initial and/or professional license. Please also note, a solely self-taught, no instructor-involved professional learning experience is not applicable. Please upload official transcripts to document coverage of requirements satisfied through coursework. Please upload a letter as follows or a copy of your certificate of completion to document coverage of requirements satisfied through seminars or workshops. Applicants may also upload official catalog descriptions as supporting documentation for coursework, seminars, or workshops. Uploading a letter is encouraged when it is not self-evident from transcripts, certificates of completion, or catalog descriptions that any or all of the requirement were covered. These letters should state the number of hours of instruction delivered specific to a requirement and the specific component of the requirement that were covered. Letters verifying coursework must be on official college, university letterhead and be signed by the course instructor, licensure officer, appropriate department chair, registrar, dean, provost, chancellor, vice president, or president. Letters verifying seminars or workshops should be on official letterhead of the provider and be signed by an appropriate representative. Verifying a panel review coverage of requirement or requirements satisfied through school-based pre-K through 12 mentored employment or peer coaching that occurred in a public school requires a letter signed by the superintendent. Verifying this option through a private school requires a letter signed by the superintendent or equivalent. Such letters should state the hours of instruction delivered via the mentored employment or peer coaching specific to a requirement and the specific components of the requirement that were covered. The name and license number of the person serving as the mentor for the mentored employment or peer coaching must also be included. Please note that the mentor must have been trained as a mentor, hold a Massachusetts initial or professional license in the field of the license sought at the appropriate grade level, and have a combined total of at least 3 full years of experience under the initial and/or professional license. This slide is an example of a letter that documents panel review coverage of requirements satisfied through the mentored employment option. If you would like to have a staff member of the licensure office consider reducing the required internship by 150 hours, please upload an official transcript or transcripts verifying the completion of one or more field-based experiences in a role relevant to the license sought. If you would like to have this internship reduced by 100 hours for each year of your employment in the role of the license sought, please upload either of the following for review and consideration: a letter on official letterhead of the district or school setting where the employment occurred, signed by a superintendent, assistant superintendent, principal, human resources director, executive director, or equivalent head administrator. The letter should state the specific roles and dates of your employment. In lieu of the aforementioned letter, applicants may upload a completed school-based employment verification, induction, and mentoring form to document employment as a school social worker, school adjustment counselor, or school counselor. If any of the employment was less than full-time, then the letter or form should include the full-time equivalency for each pertinent time period. You can find the school-based employment verification, induction, and mentoring form through the links contained within the overview located directly beneath this video. Applicants can document their required internship through uploading a letter on official school letterhead signed by the superintendent or a similar position in a non-public educational setting that complies with and includes all information noted on this slide. Please keep in mind that the individual serving as the internship mentor must have been trained as a mentor, hold the Massachusetts initial or professional license sought by the mentee, and have a combined total of at least 3 full years of experience under the initial and/or professional license. Let's discuss the panel review interview. Individuals who have at least 5 years of full-time employment in the field of counseling, social work, and/or psychology may qualify for a panel review interview. Such individuals must go through the panel review portfolio process prior to being eligible for this interview, and are encouraged to document as many portfolio panel review requirements already satisfied or partially satisfied prior to the panel review interview. Applicants who document at least 5 years of full-time relevant employment receive information about the panel review interview during the portfolio panel review process. Therefore, if applicable, document at least 5 years of full-time relevant employment as covered on slide 9. Please keep the following in mind. An initial license is valid for 5 years of employment. In addition, applicants who have not satisfied requirements to advance to professional licensure may extend an initial license for an additional 5 years of employment. The extension requires verification that you either have been employed for 5 years under the initial license or are in the 5th year of employment, and submission of a letter, form, stating that you plan to complete the requirements for professional licensure. Educators employed under an initial license for 5 years have a professional responsibility to extend the initial license or advance the initial license to a professional license before starting their next year of employment in the role of the license in a public school or other setting where possession of the valid license is required by Massachusetts law. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about educator licensure in Massachusetts. Thank you also for being an educator or aspiring to become one. Your efforts are commendable and greatly appreciated. We hope this component of MELS has been helpful. Please visit other components of the series for additional information about educator licensure. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to call the Licensure Call Center at 781-338-6600 or stop by and visit us in person at our walk-in service counter at 75 Pleasant Street, Malden, Massachusetts.